My name is Tenshi, Tenshi.
How'd you come up with your name?
So my artist name, tenshisdead, tenshisdead. The first half of it, Tenshi, it originated from a Japanese word called angel. And I'm 25% Japanese, and so I wanted to kind of put that in my music in a way. Obviously I didn't want to put in like my actual songs, but I wanted to incorporate it in some way somehow. And then the S dead thing at the end, it was just something that I do together. It doesn't have like a satanic meaning or anything to it. It's just to fit my aesthetic and everything.
When you start making music?
I started making music, I mean, I've been making music since I was little, but I started professionally making music in 2021.
What's your creative process like?
That's a really good question. I'd say I would sit with my emotions. Like in my mind, I would have like a little whiteboard, and I would just map out my emotions that I'm feeling, and I would bring out old emotions that I've bottled up, and whatever hits me the most, that's what I go by. And so whatever I feel, whether it's a past heartbreak that I can't get over, or whether it's like some family shit, or just even mental shit, I just put that into my music and I create whatever it is that I can around it.
How important is it to you to talk about mental health?
It's extremely important, because I'm 17, and I feel like talking about mental health is extremely important because not a lot of people do it. I know, and this is from my own personal experience, I know people that I've either been friends with or friends that I have lost or whatever the case may be. They've bottled up their emotions, and because of that, it turned them into a person that they didn't want to become. I can also speak on that as well because I used to do the same thing. And I feel like sometimes a lot of people are so judgmental and they're so quick to say, oh, talking about it doesn't really help, this, that, and the third. And this is coming from me because I say it every day that talking about it does not help. But I've been in so many situations where it actually has, and it's as corny as it is. It's like, dude, you're definitely never ever alone, like at all. You may feel like the world is just crashing down on you, or you may feel like everything isn't going or isn't aligning the way that it should, but you still have people around you, and you're still surrounded by people that you love and that people that love you. And as long as you can trust them, because trust is very, very, very important, especially when talking about mental health, because there's not a lot of people that you can trust with that type of information.
How does your process change when you collaborate?
That's a really good question, because I've during my whole almost 5 years of making music, I don't really collaborate with people. And if I do, it's with people that I consider either my friends or just people that I can basically just sense positive energy off of them. And when it comes to switching between mental health and collaborating with somebody, I feel like I try to put my headspace into the type of music that we're trying to make, whether it's something upbeat, whether it's something funny, something serious about mental health, whatever the case may be. I like to channel my thought process into that type of music that I'm making with that other person. And I just try to work as best as I can with that, and also try to tell a story with it as well too.
Could you go into detail about the themes of your album?
Yeah, I can actually do that right now. Let me load up my Spotify for you. I got you. Alright, beginning with my very, 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 very first debuted project that I've ever released, which is called Dark Hole, and that was released on Saturday, May 1st, 2021 at 12 p.m. And, that was about, what's so weird is, there was this person that I dated, their name was Darko, and, we broke up or whatever, corny as hell, but we broke up or whatnot, and me being that type of person, I was like, you know what, I want to channel my thoughts into something without having to do something that I'll regret, and that's when I just decided to make music. And I remember vividly, I made that whole EP at my great grandparents' house in San Diego. I used to sleep on a little pull-out bed, and I had my school laptop, I had shitty ass school headphones, and I just remember producing everything, mixing it, and just trying to have some type of mysterious aesthetic to my name before actually using my voice the way how I'm using it now. So yeah, Dark Hole, that's about like breakups and stuff like that. Fast forward to 2022, hypersexual. Now that that was a period of time where I did not know how I was feeling, especially like with my hormones and stuff, and so I became, I guess, what people call a freaky ass nigga, and I basically just made an album of songs of how I feel, and just about pleasure and shit like that. And then A Letter to Myself. This album was the second to last album that I dropped in San Diego before I moved out here to Texas. A Letter to Myself is just, in itself, it's just what to do moving forward and how to move on from certain situations. And it's also in a way like a goodbye in a way, because around that time, the last track on the album, actually The Last Ride, that was basically like the letter closing off and me signing off and stuff, and so that would have been my suicide or whatnot. Because when I made that song, I was talking about my actual thoughts and me actually wanting to commit suicide. I wanted to make sure that this whole album, besides the bonus tracks, that they talked about how I felt and told a story. And then A Blue-Winged Monarch, that was at the time one of my best projects I've ever, and I mean ever, released. The title itself, The Blue-Winged Monarch, it's ever so rare that you see one. I don't even know if they even are blue-winged monarchs, but I know there is a blue-winged butterfly, and I saw it so many times before. And it's ever so rare that you see one. And I looked at the meaning of it, and it meant rebirth. And I realized that, like, I'm changing as a person mentally, and I'm still trying to figure out who it is that I am, and what it is that I want, and what it is that I want to acquire and achieve with my life, mentally, physically, academically, socially, whatever the case may be. And that album basically just is really just the inside of just how I feel, and just my emotions in general. And at that time when I made the album, I was going through a horrible breakup. This piece of shit ex, she cheated, manipulated, lied, gaslit the whole relationship, and we only dated for a month. And I grew overly obsessed over her. I don't understand why, but I did. And it put me, it changed who I was as a person, mentally, physically, socially. I became this monster that I didn't even think that I could get myself out of, but I did. And that led to my newest project, New Era 2025. Now, that EP, not even an EP, the album, that just talks about the process. That it's really just a reverse album. The last track on the album, 17, would have been the intro track, because the first track talks about me catching feelings for someone. The second track is about the actual relationship. The third track is about the breakup, and the fourth track talks more like it's more self-explanatory. And most of the album, it's really just the relationship and me not knowing what to do with it. And near the ending of it, there's the second to last track, Venesectia, and that's basically like the beginning of my life all the way up until the ending of it, where it's just like on the beat job, it's like a big ass stab in the chest, and then at the end it just fades out, guitar, vocal, strings, birds, and that's just me basically laying on the floor and dying, basically. And then that leads into 17, which would have been the intro track. That talks about not having love in my family and shit like that. And yeah, so saying all that to say, I guess all of my albums really surround a lot of heartbreak and mental stuff, yeah.
The album you put out was supposed to be your less. Can you go into detail as to why?
At the time when I released, or rather when I was even in the creative process of this album, I wanted this to be my last album because at the time I had heavily suicidal thoughts, and I mean it was so much of it. I had planned on killing myself on my 18th birthday, which is coming up actually in 70 days, and I wanted it to, if it was going to be my last album, I wanted it to actually tell a story, and as repetitive as it can get, I wanted to just talk about, stupid relationship, mental health stuff. And yeah, I put my all, as much as I can, into it, but after I released it, I realized that I still have so much more to give. I have so much more to give. I have a whole baby sister. I feel like I never do it because of the impact that I leave on so much people and what that would do to people. Because I've been told that when I first meet people, I make a first, and I mean a really good first impression on someone, and then once I get to know that person more, they tell me that I left a positive impact on people, especially in the people that I've met out here in Texas. I never lived out here before. I've only been out here for like a year, and the school that I'm at, I almost know basically everybody at the school. Everybody daps me up and stuff, and they're like, "Yo, what's good? Tenshi, blah blah blah." And I feel like part of that is just I don't know. I feel like if I can change in some way, somehow, if I can leave an impact on people, I want to do my best to change the world and just try to bring people together. So it's definitely not my last album anymore.
Speaking about moving to Texas, what were you feeling having to move there?
I hated it so much. Man, I was born and raised in San Diego, California. And bro, when I tell you, when my mom told me that oh, pack your stuff, we're moving to Texas, this, that, and the third, I was like, what the fuck? I just remember I had so many thoughts, and I was so overwhelmed, and I was just like, what the fuck? I just started my junior year. This is huge. This is a change. And I was just like, that means I'm not going to be able to finish high school out here. I'm not going to be able to do this. I'm not going to be able to do that. What if people forget me? What if this? What if that? And it's just like, bro, so many thoughts. It made me so anxious. I remember I just had a whole anxiety attack, and then afterwards I just had a whole mental breakdown. I was just like, what the fuck? Why is this happening to me? And I realized part of that, I'm not good at accepting change. I don't think I ever have been, and that's a bad, in my opinion, it's a bad habit that I have that I'm trying to get myself out of. But when I moved out here, I was just like, what the fuck? What is this? Because mind you, this is a whole new environment, a whole new state, whole new people, different schooling. But I mean, looking back, I've had so many different what ifs. Like, what if I never moved? What if I never created the music that I'm creating out here? What if I had better opportunities out there than I might out here? Even vice versa. And I feel like now I'm starting to accept and understand things the way that they are, and I'm trying to be a lot more open. But I mean, it's hard because I mean I've lived in San Diego for basically all my life, especially in the middle of my junior year. It was definitely tough.
I remember you saying you'd want to move back to California as a kid.
It's funny you say that. My mom, she wants me to go to college. Um, I'm not really trying to do all that because you don't really have to go to college to be a musician. You don't have to really do all that shit. But I mean, it's cool to have new information and like new knowledge and shit. But like, what I want specifically to do, I already know the basics on how to do it. I already know how to produce. I know how to mix. I know how to sing, rap, do all that good shit. You don't need to go to college for that. You can to know more shit, but you don't have to. It's not a requirement. And my mom doesn't realize that. And she's trying to put me into this music school in LA. And I feel like if that's the case, then I might either just stay in California and just I don't know, stay out there for like a good 4 years while I'm in college or whatnot, save up and then get an apartment and just start my life. When after I finish college, if I do end up going, I'm not sure where I'm not sure where I'm gonna go, but yeah, I'll definitely be back out there after I graduate for sure. I guess it's just I don't know, having to do schooling and stuff for like, but I've been in school for like 12 years, bro. I don't want to have to do like another 4 just to pursue music the right way. The people that know me know that I started off making music, all of my music from 2021 all the way up until after I dropped the Blue Winged Monarch, which is 2024. That whole time period, I was making everything, and I mean everything on a school laptop. The vocals, school laptop. The beats, school laptop. The DAW that I use, and that I still use to this day, even on my personal laptop, and the new equipment that I have, Soundtrap, soundtrap.com. I've used that since 6th grade, and it helped me a lot because obviously because you're in school, you can't really download FL Studio, Logic Pro, or anything like that, unless you had your own laptop, and I didn't at the time, and nobody in my family was really trying to invest in me to get me to where I am today, and so it took a while until my family started to see the passion that I had. And what's so weird is my personal laptop that I'm using currently right now, I got that literally the night before we were supposed to leave. I got that laptop and it came that same night, and ever since then I've basically almost had this for like a whole year now. But I still use Soundtrap because I feel like, yes, I'm sure my music would sound a lot better if I used FL Studio, but not only is it too overcomplicated, but I also feel like because I've used Soundtrap for a very long time, it's probably going to be hard to transition over to like a different workspace. But
When are you starting a type channel?
that's a really good question. First, I mean, I really want to study more. I want to study more genres. I want to study what people are into nowadays, because a lot of things have changed over the years. Like, a lot of people are into rage, a lot of people are into lo-fi, a lot of people are into punk, a lot of people are into that indie type stuff, a lot of people are into like, folk, acoustic, metal, everything, bro. And I want to make sure that if I start a type beat channel, that it's not just surrounded just by 1 or 2 genres. I want it to be around everything that I can possibly create. Because I always keep telling myself, create. And if people like it, then I'll finish it and I'll put it out there. But I'll definitely be making a BeatStars channel once I have my money up and once I'm able to get financially situated. And yeah, no. But if I were to ever start a BeatStars or a Type B channel, that I want to study more genres first, and I want to make sure if I do that genre that I'm doing it justice, so that other people can like it, and then they can come back over to my page and they can be like, "Yo, I want you to produce for me," blah 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 blah, and then that'll lead to so many different opportunities.
Could you tell us about your Michael Jackson impression you did for your school talent show?
Oh Lord, oh Lord. Okay, that's so interesting. Okay, um, okay, so um, I mean, since I've been little, Michael Jackson has been and still continues to be one of my biggest inspirations sonically, vocally, this in any way, man. I feel like he was the greatest of all time, and I feel like I don't know what it was. I think my brother had showed me some kind of MJ video, and I remember I got so fascinated, and I just stayed at that computer for hours. I was studying every single move, and I remember the very first time I got anything MJ related. My aunt, she got me my very first Thriller jacket, and I was just like, you know what? Ever since then, I think this is a new passion that I have. I guess because I've been practicing and studying a lot of moves, it brought me to want to do it at, like talent shows at school, and just like other different events. My most recent one, I posted a video. It was Man in the Mirror, and what's so weird is that whole time I was so scared because around that time, my aunt passed. My late Aunt Connie, God rest her soul. I remember I was so scared to go up there because, I wanted to make sure that if she's watching from above, or rather, yeah, if she's watching over me, and if she's spiritually there, I want to make sure that I make her proud. And I don't know what it was that made me choose Man in the Mirror, but I chose it. And if you heard the way how the audience reacted at the end, I went backstage and I cried my butt off. I felt like I did justice to not only the song but to her. And yeah, man, God rest her soul. I miss her so much. Many memories that I've had with her. The only reason why I'm even into music right now, like making beats and stuff, is because of her and my uncle, because they had a house together, and it was my aunt, my uncle, and my other uncle. Rather, I should say my great aunt, my great uncle, and my other uncle. But he had a studio inside the house, and every time I would go to church with my aunt, we would always stop at like McDonald's, get something to eat for lunch, and then I'd always go back there and I'd be like, "Yo, Uncle Alan, can we make music together? Blah blah blah. Can you show me how this works?" And he had a Logic Pro X, and I remember he was showing me how to do certain things on it and how to find different sound selections and how to quantize stuff and how to mix everything and all that stuff, and it had me so interested. And I don't think I would be where I am right now if it wasn't for that experience. Back to the MJ stuff. It basically all just started when I was little. And so I just wanted to be like, you know what, at the time, I didn't know that it was going to be my last year, but that was my sophomore year, and I was going into my junior year. But I was just like, you know what, might as well just do it, get out the way with, who cares? And I did it. And alright, bet. So, y'all can find me everywhere, literally on every platform, under tenshisdead, TEN tenshisdead. A lot of people put Tenshi is dead, but it's just tenshisdead. I also want to shout out my dog Ian. I want to shout out my best friend Cameron. I want to shout out my best friend Stefan Greens. I want to shout out the helper. I want to shout out to a lot of people, but those are just like my main core people that I love dearly. I want to shout out my dog Alonso, Mari, Aiden, Carnage, A-Rod, Janelle. It's Lynn. But it's so many people. But yeah.